Hello and welcome to this, an historic building. The following is a presentation brought to you by the Friends of the Historic Building Association. We hope you enjoy your visit and come back again soon. Coordinates: 51 degrees 26 single quote 54 N 2 degrees 35 single quote 32 W dimensions, unknown. Each wood would have been lovingly handcrafted by the artisans of the region. Location: Phoenix Wharf, below Redcliffe Parade, Lower Guinea Street, Bristol, BS 16TJ. Dates: 1897. Architect: unknown. Style: vernacular. Listed status: no. Materials: built of timber with a corrugated iron roof. Original function: commercial/storage. Building type: transport. See more at http://benjamin-perry-boathouse/benjamin-perry-boathouse/sthash.nfbsadqk.puff. A story. On monthly neap tides, when the gravitational pull of the moon creates lower high tides, there was never enough water in the river for larger ships to move, so they would have to wait for a week or two in Bristol or at the mouth of the Avon, further congesting the port. Noun edit. Neap tide, plural neap tides. The tide which occurs just after the first and third quarters of the moon, when there is least difference between high tide and low tide. Spring tides occur when the sun and moon line up, since the gravities of the two bodies add together to create larger tidal forces. Neap tides occur when the sun and moon are at right angles to one another as seen from Earth. In this case, the gravitational forces counteract each other, creating weaker tidal forces. Nilev Comey's A New Slant on Earth, Astronomy, Volume 20. ISS 7. PG 44, 6 PGS, July, 1992. Rear Admiral Harry Hill, put in command of the amphibious force, consults with local mariners and reaches a cautious consensus that neap high tide in the lagoon on November the 20th will surely be close to 5 feet deep. Michael Kernan, Tarawa. Heavy fire. Unable to land. Issue in doubt. Smithsonian, Volume 24 Issue 8, p. 118, 11p, 1c, 9bw, Nov, 1993. Neap tides that occur during the first and third quarters of the moon and that have the least difference between high and low tides. Richard M. Schlenker and Sarah J. Yoshida, Developing Science Activities, Volume 32 Issue 2, p. 34, 7p, 3 charts, Summer, 1995. Manifestations of water scarcity are increasingly frequent, even in regions with temperate climates and endowed with good water resources. This paper argues that several good reasons and mechanisms are at work to generate overbuilt basins, whereby the development of infrastructural resources invariably tends to outstrip available resources. Drip drip drop little April shower. King family, Phoenix Wharf. King's Wharf, Alfred Wharf. The name Phoenix dates from the Phoenix Assurance. See more at http://bristol-boathouse/benjamin-perry-boathouse/sthash.nfbsadqk.puff. £30,000 programme of restoration. Merchants in Bristol began to think of ways to make the harbour non-tidal by damming the river. This would allow the ships that were in harbour to stay afloat, hence a floating harbour. Dam the river. http://www.bristolfloatingharbour.org.uk/about/y-was-it-built/. Dockers often devised nicknames for each other and quite often knew colleagues only by their nicknames. This isn't unique to dockers, we all do it, and many of us have had nicknames for teachers. Nicknames were often very witty and sometimes cruel. They could originate from an event. Dictator came about when a man called Richard was nearly caught stealing potatoes, or from someone's appearance. Concord had a sharp pointy nose. Sometimes they were an allusion to a celebrity's name. A man called Young was known as Rita after the film star Rita Young. But in those days, I mean life was hard anyway. Q. I know, but well. A3. They used to wait for the Lord Mayor's boots at Christmas. A2. Well, I mean all the families did that. Our family, although we went to the church school of St. Nicholas, which was a damn good school and a damn good church, our main church was either the Seamen's Mission or St. Stephen's Church in the city. I mean the Seamen's Church, as I say, we went there every Sunday. But the Seamen's Church was where they all got married and where all the children were christened. A3. Yes. A2. And at that time there was a lot of charities given out from these churches. I mean, you may say, what's born it? When I was talking to here. Because at St. Stephen's Church they had a lot of merchant adventurers that belonged to the congregation, and there was money put there to the poor, and I think once a year they used to give a guinea to the parishioners, I think. A3. A lot of money then. A2. But. A3. And. A3. Well, that was. See, another thing. See, in the school that we went to, a marvelous school. And every year, once a year on Ascension Day, because a lot of the old boys were merchants. Now Mr. Brown, he owned the Sand and Gravel Company on the Grove. Now my headmaster, they used to arrange with him that they would get one of their barges and one of their tugs, and all the children in the school would go down on the docks at the Grove, go on the barge, they would tow us up to Harnium, and they would supply us with a bit of tea up there and bring us back. A3. Bees's Tea Gardens. And you see. A3. And Tuckers used to supply the oranges and all the fruit for us. Q. What was the tea gardens called? Bees's Tea Gardens. A3. Bees's Tea Gardens. Q. Bees's. Bees's. A3. We used to relish the boat. Oh, they're celebrating. Is it their 100th or 150th year this year? Q. Up at Harnium, is that? Yes, on the riverbank. Q. Thank you for visiting this an historic place.